everyone, it's CL. Happy Mother's Day. Today is Mother's Day, and this is a day that's very special and near and dear to my heart because, as you all know, I am a mom, and it's one of the labels that I cherish the most in my life. So yeah, I love this day more so even than my birthday because this just is like a whole nother realm of who I am. And you know, I'm someone that very much takes pride in being a mom. I feel like that's one of the good things I can rely on that I'm good at. So yeah, my little one is off to the side over here. She has grown into an 8-year-old ball of sass, and she's so smart and so funny, and I can't imagine my life without her. So for Mother's Day, I thought I'd do like a very special video, kind of tell a little bit about myself and some mom stories, and also show you what my little one gave me for Mother's Day. So to start off, I am someone who very much wanted to be a mom. Like, I had it all planned out in my relationship. I had asked, like, I'm ready to have a baby, can we have one? And he said, like, after so many years and after all these check boxes are checked off, then yes, that would be a good time to have one. So I kept that in mind. I was not the type of person that would bring it up every year. I would follow like the checklist. I'm like, this many years passed, this happened, this happened, this happened. Okay, now it's time. I'm ready to have a baby. And we did. So when I was pregnant, I already had like anxiety, but when I got pregnant, it like increased by 100-fold. And I was just very, very anxious about the whole process, I was very anxious about like somebody stealing my baby, or that someone would like accidentally give me the wrong baby. Like, these were all the things that were running in my mind. And every time I would tell myself like, oh, that's just in your head, the timing would be horrible, where I would watch like the news and some nurse took a baby out of the hospital, or I would watch like a movie and it's about like switched at birth, you know, like the timing was awful as far as like how I felt and the things that I would come across. And what kind of amplified my anxiety is because when I took the hospital tour of like the maternity ward, they explain everything to you. They take you on a tour, they let you know what's gonna happen, and I was like feeling really good. I was like, yes, this is really good. I see that it's a very safe atmosphere. And then the nurse told me, oh yes, when your baby is born, immediately we put a tag on their leg, so if anybody tries to leave this area with the baby, the double doors will lock automatically and the alarm will sound. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, how many babies are stolen on a regular basis in which they need to like tag the baby, have alarms, the doors will lock, security is called. Like, oh my gosh, that did nothing good for my anxiety. And up until I had her, like even when I went into labor, I was paranoid. I was like, oh my gosh, what if they don't realize that she's mine, you know? I was very much worried I would be given the wrong baby or something like that. And after I had her, it was very comical because there was no way whatsoever that they would have confused her for being like somebody else's kid. First of all, she was born 10 pounds. Like all the little other babies in the little hospital nursery area, they were these small little bundles. Small bundle, small bundle, small bundle. And then you had this big bundle of baby, and that was mine. She looked like a mini sumo wrestler. She looked like a baby sumo wrestler. That's what I called her. And she was so cute, so squishy. She was so heavy. I was not prepared for the muscles I needed to carry her around. I was expecting like a small bundle, and gradually that my muscles would like build up. No, I started off with 10 pounds and carrying around those 10 pounds everywhere, it was difficult. But I had like major biceps. I was so strong. And and what's funny is not only that, she was one of the only babies that was born with a full head of hair. All the other babies were bald and had like the little peach fuzz. She had a full head of hair where you could like buy a hairbrush, like a baby hairbrush, and it would actually serve a purpose because she had hair to brush, and it was amazing. So yes, after she was born, we have never been separated. We have always been together. And yeah, she's my little partner in crime. So fast forward, now that she's not a baby anymore, she's 8 years old and very much is coming into her personality. Like, I see her personality so well. She is very confident. She is strong-willed, she is very smart, like I said, and she's very creative. So one of the things that we did recently is that we challenged ourselves to go without electronics for 4 hours. And for both of us, we were both kind of freaking out. Like me, I am constantly on the internet researching things, looking at things, watching YouTube. And she is constantly on the internet watching her videos. She has Netflix going and she always has something on, right? And then even when I brought it up, I'm like, should we try for 4 hours to go without electronics? And she was like, okay, everything but the TV. And I said, no, the TV too, because that's, you know, it runs off electricity. That we just have to just not use any electronics. We even had a table where we would put all our electronic devices, our iPad, our computer, our phone, and she would call it the contraband table. That we weren't allowed to touch that table until our alarm sounded. And we thought it was going to be very hard to go without our electronics, but it turned out we had so much fun because we were just together. We played games. We actually did a lot of art. And what was kind of cool, this is one thing that I will stress if you're a parent. A lot of times as parents, we tend to take charge a lot, talk over them, and kind of just direct them what to do, right? But I think it's very important to let them feel comfortable enough to speak freely, to let them go off on like whatever happens to be on their mind, because you will learn so much, right? So when we were doing our little art projects, we're actually making cute little monsters. That's what we decided to do. We're cutting out monsters, coloring, cutting, stapling, using a lot of tape. And then she was coloring on top of a book because she wasn't using a table. She needed a hard surface. So she was actually coloring on top of this book here. It has crayon marks on here because we're using the hard surface. This is called, so this book is called Treasury of Wit and Wisdom. And you notice how it has like a lot of characters down here. These are like people, famous people that this book is filled with like famous quotes. But anyways, she was coloring on top of this book and she points to him right here. And then she goes, oh, he was a really good president. And I was like, oh, President Obama? You know, because she said president and he was our only black president thus far. And I was like, President Obama? And then she's quiet because she's doing her little art project. He had a really good dream. So I look closer and then I realize it's Martin Luther King Jr. I was like, oh, she's able to recognize him. That's really good. And then some time passes, like a minute or two, and then she goes, that's pretty dumb, isn't it? And I was like, what's dumb? She goes, that you're trying to separate people just because they have the wrong skin color. That's pretty dumb. And I was like, that's very dumb. And then we get into this conversation about like why people did that, why people have that mindset. I try to explain like ignorance and not being educated, and we had this whole long conversation while we're doing our art project. And these are conversations you think that a child wouldn't understand, but they very much understand, so that was really cool. And then she was even saying, she's like, if they live in an area and they're not getting educated to know these things, then it's the parents' fault. She said this and it was so true, and I was like, really proud of her that she is learning a lot. Like, don't be afraid to talk to your kids. They know a lot. So that is something I'm really proud of. There's all these moments where I feel really, really proud inside. But moving on, just you know, before I open up my little gift bag here of what Elle got me for Mother's Day. So now I want to go into like funny things that she has said because I think it's so funny. I write them down in her adventure journal that I have for her, so when she gets older, she'll be able to reminisce back on like what she was like as a child and the funny things she said. So this is something that I think is so funny, and the reason why it's fresh in my memory because it happened somewhat recently. Elle is mixed, and for some reason she can't remember Asian. Like, she can't remember that she's mixed with half Asian. Like, she knows what I look like, but she doesn't know what it's called. So what she does is she tells everyone that she's half black. She goes, see my skin? I'm light brown because I'm half white and half black. And then I correct her. I'm like, oh, you're actually half Asian. She goes, oh, I can't remember. Like, she can't remember the term. Just because, you know, where we live in New York City. I'm from Southern California. We've always lived in a diverse place. So the topic of being mixed doesn't really come up in that sense because it's so normal here. Like, all her cousins are mixed as well with various things. And I think it might run in the family though, because my nephew, my oldest brother's son, when he was little, he also thought that my brother was black. Like, my brother is that person that very much, if he's in the sun, he gets very, very dark. But my nephew, he was totally convinced that my brother was Tupac. Like, he would see a poster of Tupac and he'd be like, oh, there's daddy. And Tupac is not his dad. But I guess in that sense, my brother does have like the bald head and the little mustache going, and has really dark skin. But I just think it's funny, you know? So yeah, but now I just roll with it, you know? She goes, I'm half white and half black. I'm like, yeah, well, there you go. She's just talking to me off to the side. She goes, you're light brown. I don't know what that is. Okay, so the story that Elle wants me to tell because she thinks it's funny is, let me give some backstory. Elle is sleepwalking runs in my family. All of us, my brothers and myself and my daughter, we are sleepwalkers. Like, we would walk in our sleep, talk in our sleep. So, but as you get older, you stop sleepwalking and you more just like sleep talk, you know? It just runs in my family. I don't know why it does. So Elle, when she was a baby, she would sleep crawl. Like, she would just get up on all fours and she'd sleep crawl, going who knows where, and I'd have to catch her mid crawl. And then like, to this day, she still like talks in her sleep, which is normal for us because it runs in the family. And every once in a while, she does like the weirdest things in her sleep. I think we fell asleep in the same bed one time. It was a very really big bed, and we just fell asleep. And I was just getting ready to fall into a deeper sleep. And out of nowhere, she bulldozes over me like I don't even exist. She rolls over me like a steamroller from one end of the bed to the other. And I'm just like, my eyes shot open wide. I was like, what was that? Did that just happen? And she is dead asleep, rolling all over the bed like bulldozer. I didn't even know what to think. I was like, did that just happen? Did she just realize that she rolled over a human being? Like, what is happening here? And I told her the next morning and she thought it was funny. So every time she does something weird, like sleep-wise, I document it and I tell her the next day because we both think it's the funniest thing ever. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and see what Elle got me for Mother's Day. So we got this bag together. We actually picked this up. She had a birthday party to go to when we went to, what's that place called? Papyrus, to get like wrapping, like a bag or wrapping paper. And she's seen this and it's very beautiful. And she said, can I get that? And I said, why? She goes, for a Mother's Day present. I was like, yes, absolutely, you can get that. So I got her this bag and she has filled it up. So let's see what I got. So the first thing she made me is this card here. It has a heart in the front, has a heart in the back. And mind you, this is something that she has gradually been working on. Like after school, she'll do like a little art project and she tells me not to look. And then on the inside, you won't probably be able to see it, but I can see it. It says, hey, happy Mom Day, hey. And I said, oh, that's so cute. And she does say hey. She said, hey. And I'm like, hey. So, and then on this piece of paper, she wrote, you're the best mom ever. And I hope that's true. And I'm going to keep this because she wrote this down. I'm going to put it in her journal. So whenever she's a teenager and gets mad at me, I'm going to be like, see this right here? This is proof that I'm the best mom ever, written in your own handwriting. So I got to keep this as leverage once she becomes a teenager. And she made me a bookmark because I am someone who is constantly losing like bookmarks. Like, I'm so terrible with bookmarks and I end up taking her Pokemon cards and using them as a bookmark. She said, you need to stop using my rare Pokemon cards as your bookmark. So this is another heart that she made. On the front it says Mom, and on the back it's her holding a banner that says Happy Mom Day. And oh, and she made me this thing here. It's made out of I forget what these pipe cleaners. She made me this thing of pipe cleaners and she said it was a balloon and it's so cute. Look at it. And lastly, we went to the library to stock up on some books and she said, Mom, I'm going to pick you out a book for Mother's Day so you can read it and this will be your Mother's Day book. So she went off on her own to the adult section, the fiction section for adults, and she picked me out a book and she ended up getting this one here, looks like this. The title is Evergreen, a novel by Rebecca Rasmussen, author of The Bird Sisters. I've never read that series before, but when I opened this up and read the synopsis, it is so scandalous, like I'm very much interested. So the story goes that this husband and wife lived in a forest of some sort. The husband they have a baby. The husband has to leave to take care of like his father, and he tells the wife like, oh, go to your father's house or something until I get back. But she ends up staying in the forest, just kind of like surviving on her own. And a stranger comes along, and lo and behold, she gets pregnant by this stranger. And she doesn't want her husband to find out, so she has the baby and immediately gives it away. And I guess years later, the original baby that they had, the first baby, grows up and tries to find like their long lost sibling, and it sounds absolutely scandalous. So I'm gonna read this book. It sounds interesting. It definitely has me intrigued. Elle picked out a good book for me. I know she didn't read the synopsis because she doesn't got time for that, and I know she's seen it because of this cover here, and I have to say that she did a very, very good pick. Alright, so that is it for my Mother's Day video. I just wanted to announce to the world that Mother's Day is the best day in the world. At least for me, at least for us moms. Alright, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.